Welcome to Scriptfella. In today's film, we're going to look at the 7 key questions you need to ask a script consultant before you hand over your money. It's just like Blade Runner and the Voight Camp test. You ask the questions, and from their answers, you may determine whether they're the real deal or knockoff replicants.
You're reading a magazine, you come across a full-page nude photo of a girl.
Is this testing whether I'm a replicant or a lesbian, Mr. Deckard?
Just answer the questions, please.
Screenwriting consultants, script coverage services, and script editors, let's get stuck in. I've worked as a professional screenwriter for almost 2 decades. And over this time, I've spent thousands of dollars on script consultants and script coverage services like The Blacklist, where I did actually sell a script. But most of the money that I've spent on these services has been a total waste. So the first thing you need to ask your script consultant is, are they a pro or have they been a pro? And by definition, a pro, I mean a professional who has earned money either as a writer or as a development executive, or best of best, certainly in the UK, if you're looking to get in the TV scene, a script editor. Your script is a precious thing that you are investing a huge amount of time in. So you want to make sure that you are taking the best advice from people who know what they're talking about. And I think you can get notes from your peers if your peers are at the prosumer level. And by prosumer, I mean they're amateurs, they haven't been paid for their writing yet, but they understand the mechanics and the basic plot construction and character development. But that is not the same as getting your advice from a professional. And here's why. To use the analogy of book clubs. So you can have some very educated, very savvy readers who are perhaps aspiring writers who are about to break in, and they can discuss a book with a high level intelligence. But if you're an author, you wouldn't be taking your notes from the people in the book club. You'd be taking your notes from the most important person, I would argue, in the whole publishing chain, which is a script editor. Now, unfortunately, in the screenwriting world, script editors are very thin on the ground unless you're working in UK television. What you really need is somebody to go deep diving and to look at everything, the characters, the plot, the way the words align, the specifics of the dialogue. You want to make sure that the person who's giving you all these notes knows what they're talking about. Is the script consultant for real, or are they a replicant? Sometimes you can just read the bios on these big coverage sites of the people who you'll be paying, and they put up posters of all the movies that that company has been connected with. And it may be that they worked for that company for 2 months as an intern, and now they're saying they were involved with Wonder Woman. Or maybe they worked as a production assistant on Wonder Woman, which, by the way, is a brilliant job to get, but it doesn't qualify you to fix somebody's second act problems, or to give advice, or to charge hundreds of dollars for the privilege. And this is as much a question for you as it is for them. What do you want from your service? Are you paying them because you want to get access to the buyers, or because you want to improve the script? Because in my experience, these things don't work for both bases. I sold a script on The Blacklist. I put it up there. I got some reviews. They were quite useful up to a point. But what I really wanted to do was get a great review and sell it. And I did, and Owen Winkler's company optioned it. But I then went back like a gambler at Vegas who'd won the jackpot and blew $2,000 trying to get the same result with 6 of my other scripts.
But everything came off the rails with one hand. And that's how it happens. That's how you go full tilt.
Buy 3 reviews, get some points, some nuggets, go back, rewrite, and try and push from a 5 out of 10 to a 6 and like a 7 and an 8. And it's the road to hell and bankruptcy.
You have $112,000 on the table. You want another 50?
Give me another 100, please.
You need to get your script to submission standard before you start spending money on competitions. You need to have a development budget, which is getting your script up to submission level. And then you need to have a competition budget, which is basically you're spinning the wheel, you're investing some money to see if you can get your script awarded with a semi-final or a final place, or the attention of a manager or an agent. And I have got a manager from Tracking Board Contest. A lot of these script coverage services are competitions in disguise with a bit of extra coverage, but it's not the kind of level you need, in my opinion. I've received notes on The Blacklist that have been really useful, but it's 1 or 2. It's not the whole 120-page script. Is your script consultant padding out their reviews with material that actually is of no use whatsoever? And specifically, I'm talking about 2 practices by a lot of well-known coverage services, which I've used. First is you pay $300 for a script consult, and you get 3 pages. 1 page is the synopsis of your story, which in my opinion has absolutely no value whatsoever. And some of these services say, well, no, it helps you analyze the story. Listen, what you want is 3 pages of actionable notes. The second thing, which I think is useless and is padding, is when they provide these industry grids, which is sort of like it's a rehearsal. Like if this had been at this company, you'd score 8 out of 10 for this and 5 for this. And it's pure conjecture. And most importantly, you don't know who's coming up with these assessments. How do you know that the person who's marking you is even better qualified than you? Because it's all done anonymously. Once you've read it and said, oh, I did really well, or oh, I didn't do very well, where's the value? So ask your script consultant whether they're including synopses of your script and whether there's any grids, and just tell them to take it out. If I'm going to get 3 pages for $300, I want 3 pages of gold, which is worth my time and worth my money. Are they transparent about who they're working with, about who you're paying to do the work? Because often you will receive anonymous reviews from people that you've no idea what they've done and what their qualifications are. I would advise you to go with services where you can actually look at their bios. I don't like anonymous coverage, especially when it's really expensive. Money is precious. Make sure you spend it wisely and make sure there's full transparency with your script consultant. You don't want a replicant who's just sitting in the background who could be anyone.
You're watching television. Suddenly you realize there's a wasp crawling on your arm.
I'd kill it.
Are they honest? Are they direct? Or are they kind of finessing a lot of the notes to leave you with a glowing feeling and giving you an over-optimistic view of your script? You've got to be diplomatic when you're giving notes, but equally, you have to be direct. If you look at sports, you want a coach who's going to push you beyond your limits, not somebody who's going to pat you on the back and say, you're going to be okay, very good, well done. You can inspire people, but you need to push them. My ideal script consultant would be Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday.
You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small.
You need someone to rev you up.
On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch.
You need someone to push you and to inspire you and to push you to go further than you've gone before.
We claw with our fingernails for that inch.
That is a good consultant.
Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing.
That is a good coach.
Between living and dying.
How many of you have had a consult and you've thought, right, I've cracked it, and you haven't even made the semis of one of the big contests? You have not been served well with the right information. You need to talk to somebody who not only knows what they're talking about, but will actually tell it to you to your face.
That's football, guys. That's all it is.
And the idea is not to shame people. The idea is to improve people and be constructive. Are they a deep dive specialist or a surface swimmer? Because every single script consult I've ever paid for, and as I've said, I've paid for loads of them, has been surface. For example, if someone says to me, yeah, well, your dialogue gets on the nose, where? Where is it on the nose? If it's on the nose in 10 places in the script, you need to know where those places are. If you're told you're overwriting in the description lines in some of your scenes, punch up the prose. Where? And this is the problem, because if you commission a $150 script consult, the reader doesn't have time to give you the attention you need. Because they're looking at maybe doing 2 of these a day, if they're professionals, maybe 3. What they're doing is triage. It's like if you're in a war zone, they're looking around and saying, right, what can we save? What in the time can I give this person that will help and improve their script? That's not enough. If you want to get a script to submission standard, you need to go into the prose, which is often suboptimal, this description. I find with all my clients, I spend a lot of my time going deep diving into the way the words are expressed on the page, down to the verbs, down to the sentence constructions and the dialogue, cutting, chopping. Look at the totality of what you require. What is required to create a script that will help you break in 2020, 2021, 2022? The answer is something that is so tight, so lean, so finely honed, so that the exec or agent is reading it and saying, this person has got their stuff together. They know how to edit. They know how to write dialogue. They know how to write prose in an engaging way that makes you want to turn the page. Now, you're not going to get that from these surface swimming script consultants from some coverage services. If you can't get a script to submission level on your own or with the help of your prosumer peers, then you need to find somebody who will help you do that. I've been working with a handful of writers in America who are already in the business or on the brink of being in the business, and I've been evolving this new script coverage system, which I want to share with you.
Hi, my name is Adam D'Alba, and I have been a working screenwriter for the past 7 years. I've worked on projects for Starz, A&E, Paramount, and others. And what was it? About 6 months ago, a screenwriter friend recommended me to Dominic. Now, initially, I was deeply skeptical about hiring a script consultant, basically paying someone for the same type of notes that I would get for free from reps, from executives, and friends. But Dominic has offered me something that none of the rest have, and it works like this. I'll send him the latest draft of whatever script I'm currently working on, and about 24 hours later, Dominic will email me back his notes. Now, these aren't your typical studio notes. Instead, Dominic records his notes in an audio file. It's sort of like a podcast on your script. So in that audio file, Dominic will include his comments, thoughts, questions, and critiques on the script as he's reading it in real time. So this allows me to get a window into what my reader might be thinking or feeling as they're reading the script. It's sort of like if you're a stand-up comedian, you want to perform in front of an audience in order to figure out what jokes land and to figure out exactly the right timing of your punchlines. So Dominic provides me that real-time feedback from moment to moment, word by word in the script. Now, I would highly recommend him to any screenwriter who's looking for a sharp, critical eye on their script.
My typical client will be somebody who is on the brink of breaking in or has the potential in the next 12 months to break in.